Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be with you again today, and I'm happy to announce that I have a very special guest. Um, I am going to talk to Kelsi German today. She is the sister of Libby German. She was one of the girls, along with Abby Williams, that went missing almost 4 years ago now, and they did find them. They were victims of a murder, and unfortunately, um, they haven't found the person responsible yet. But there's many people all over the world trying to help find whoever is responsible for their deaths. So I'm going to bring Kelsi on now. She is currently attending Purdue University. And what are you studying there? Hello, Kelsi, by the way, but what are you studying at Purdue?
I'm studying forensic psychology. So I'm actually doing a psychology major with minors in forensic science and law and society.
Wow, that's awesome. So what are your plans career-wise when you're finished?
I'd like to work in a prison or for a nonprofit working with victims' family members, maybe for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children or something along those lines.
That would be amazing. So if you were to work at a prison, what would be the job that you'd want to do there? Like a social, like a counselor or something like that?
Yeah, I would probably work as like a criminal profiler, something along those lines. I would probably counsel the prisoners.
Awesome. Then that was going to be one of my questions, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. But first, I wanted to ask you, with the 4-year anniversary coming up, how different is your life now than 4 years ago? What's happened to change your life besides the obvious of what happened?
So I had a lot of people in my life that I've met since Libby died that have just been so amazing. I've met so many people that have lost siblings, so many people that have lost cousins, brothers, whoever that might be to them. And just being part of that community just helped me to find my passion to advocate for them.
That's awesome. I get what you're saying about that because when me and my brother Tyson started the True Crime Channel, we would get stories from all over, and it was people that are going through tragedies and they're drawn to that community because they've had their own tragedies, and they're trying to help other people to kind of, I wouldn't say get past what happened, but to finally find peace and comfort through and healing through helping other people. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, so it started out as just trying to find a support system that could help me to understand what I was going through, because there just wasn't anybody around me, anybody in my community that understood really what losing a sibling in such a violent way was. So when I went to CrimeCon and I started meeting all these siblings of victims, I created that support system for me, and that was my way of healing was in the beginning. But now I want to help find healing for these other people. We're still working for answers, but I've learned to cope and I've learned to grieve. And there's still people out there that don't know how to do that because they don't have this community, this awesome support system in the true crime community that I have. I just want everybody to be able to have that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that you found that. One other thing I wanted to ask you about was you've been so strong through this whole thing. Just researching for this interview, I've watched a lot of interviews you've done, and I couldn't believe the strength you had. But as far as I want to relate that to your sister, Libby, says a lot of people, when this first came out that she recorded the guy on the bridge and that stuff that happened, they were calling her a hero. Is that kind of her character? What she would do is kind of a protector and somebody who was like, okay, whatever happens, I'm going to get this guy or something like that. Was that her character?
That was very much Libby. She was always trying to make sure that everybody else was okay. And I think that would still be her now. She was just the strongest, bravest person you would ever meet. So that was very much her, very much something she would do. Just
That's
protecting,
great.
helping others.
That's the way I look at her. And I noticed that I noticed that you did an interview concerning the app, the Crime Door app. And were you involved with like creating that, and especially the scenario that they show on there on the bridge?
Yeah, so I was part of it in a sense that I helped them they've never been to the bridge. So I was able to explain what the bridge looks like. For example, in the beginning, they had this picture perfect railroad trestle created. And that's just not what High Bridge is. That bridge is terrifying. And so I helped them to make a more accurate bridge that better depicted what High Bridge really looks like.
Well, you did a wonderful job, because I've been to that bridge. My brother and I went there in September, and I would only go about 5 feet out there because of how terrible it looked. I mean, the big holes, the rotting. You guys did a great job, because I watched one of those, the depiction of that, and it was spot on. And another thing I wanted to revert back to involving my question, I noticed that when it showed Abby and Libby in that scenario, Libby was in between Abby and the guy. It's like she was that protector. And I thought, man, that is cool, because that's exactly how I thought that would have happened from what I've learned about Libby through this whole process.
Oh, yeah. And it's just a best guess. There's actually other people that have done like videos that have went out to the bridge and tried to mimic the exact spot that this guy would have been in. And so based on those videos, that was our best guess of where they would have been at the point of that video.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so next question I got for you. What did you think when they came out with a different sketch, when that sketch came out? Did you get some advance notice of that before the press conference that happened?
So at that point, I was actually still going to Ball State. And I was at Ball State. I had finals that week, so I had to stay there. And my family was all notified about 10 minutes before the press conference of what they were going to be releasing. So they were all in a little room and being told about it. My grandma tried to call me before, but she didn't have time. So I was notified about the same time as the public was. And it was so heart-shattering. It felt like we'd been looking for this one person, this old man, forever. And now we're looking for somebody completely different. It kind of felt like all of that work we'd done was kind of not worthless, but like we'd wasted our time looking for one person and now we're looking for somebody else.
Do you have it? Yeah. Do you have any ideas why that they changed like that? Like, do you have any idea? I mean, I don't want you to give anything away that you might know, but do you, did they totally change what they think the person they thought it was, and then, or was it just they had a bad sketch the first time?
All they really ever told us was it was advancements in knowledge and technology. So I think they just had a better understanding of who this person might be, and decided that this second sketch was probably more accurate.
All right. Yeah, that was. I saw some of the video from that and some of the reactions of the people there in Delphi, and yeah, it looked like that they had the same reaction you did. Like, I can't believe that this is happening now after we've been looking for this person. Another question that goes along with something you said earlier when I asked you about the prison, you said you might want to do some profiling. So, have you worked on, this is probably a dumb question because I'm sure you have, but have you worked on a profile for who Bridge Guy? Do you call him Bridge Guy, by the way?
That's the only thing we really know what to call him. So yeah, that's what we go with.
So do you have a profile you've created who you think that?
I haven't really. It just doesn't make sense to me how somebody who hasn't done it before goes straight to killing 2 girls. Through all of my research, that's one thing I've never found was a first-time offender going out in public and killing 2 girls in broad daylight. That's just not something that happens, especially two young girls, especially one bigger than the other one who definitely could have fought him off. So, yeah, that's all I have. I've never really created a profile. I just feel like I haven't done all of my forensic psychology classes enough to go into that. But yeah, someday.
Yeah, it does seem like that if that was his first murder, let's say, or first event, from all I've read about and learned about, you don't go from 0 to 1,000,000, like you're saying. So, yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think that's probably not the road they should look down as first time person. But okay, I don't know if you're able to talk about any of this, but I'll ask you anyways. I've heard rumors that there's people or that there's information that they've shared with you guys that they haven't shared with the public. Like one of the things that I read about this morning was they said that you guys were able to listen to audio from Libby's phone. Is that true?
I believe that my grandparents and Anna all listened to a lot of the video. I never did. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I think that they just wanted to see if they knew the voice. So I think what they heard was just what's been put out there, but a little bit more extended.
Yeah, and the only reason I asked that question is because I was going to see if maybe it helped you. I didn't want to know, like, I don't want to put you on the spot to ask you what it was. I just wanted to see if it might have, any of that information might have helped your family go in a certain direction to who you might be looking for, where they're from. Do you think the bridge guy might be from the Delphi area, or do you think that he was just some guy roaming around?
I definitely think he has to be local. He definitely knew that bridge pretty well. I know people in Delphi that didn't know that bridge was there. So you definitely have to know the trail system to know where High Bridge is, and to even know High Bridge exists, you have to know the area. So yeah, he's local, or at least knows Delphi.
Yeah, I'll agree with that, because when Tyson and I went to Delphi, we started on the other end of town and we started walking, and we didn't realize we were way off. We were way on the other side of town. So we had a long walk, and then we had to stop in town and ask people where to go. So yeah, it's not like it's just right there and you could see it or anything. You got to walk pretty good ways to get in there. So, well, all right. I appreciate you coming on here, Kelsi. Is there anything you want to add to what we've been talking about? Anything that you want the public to know, or anything?
Just that answers are going to come. Just to be patient. We're going to find him. We don't know where he is now, but someday he's going to mess up, and we're going to get the answers we all deserve.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being so strong. I really, I've seen people that don't advocate for their families and don't do things, and that really, or they're just not strong enough to go out there. They just can't handle it. But you've been amazing. I could see with like the strength that comes from your family, because I see your grandma and your grandpa, and I see everybody out there advocating for Libby, and that's really refreshing to see. And I commend you for going for a degree and a career that's going to really help a lot of people. I really think that you're going to do that, and I appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kelsi.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.